How's it going, everybody? Dieter Kurtenbach here, Dieter and Hutch podcast. No Hutch. He's overseas. Parts unknown. And that's what it was for the 49ers today. Parts unknown. Could not put it together at any point in this contest. San Francisco 49ers falling 23-17 to the Minnesota Vikings, who, let's just be clear about this, they have their number. They have their number. And I think that if any team is trying to figure out how to beat the 49ers, they should look directly to the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell put on a masterclass in offensive play calling, made Sam Darnold look like the better quarterback out there on the field with Brock Purdy, who had two very bad interceptions, was constantly throwing it in to double, triple, quadruple coverage throughout this game. Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator, just giving Brock Purdy a fit again, and the 49ers lose this game. It really shouldn't have even been this close. 23-17 is not an indicative scoreline. It was only that because Fred Warner is that good. If you thought Monday night's game against the Jets was the best linebacking performance you've ever seen, you were probably right. And then you had to watch this game, and that was even better. Fred Warner, a sack, that matters. 9 tackles, that matters. But an interception of Sam Darnold, Darnold just didn't see him. He undercut a route in zone coverage. It was really high-level stuff from Fred Warner, playing a little cat-and-mouse game with the quarterback that he went up against in practice all last year. And then a forced fumble, unlike really any other, to save the game for the 49ers, an opportunity they couldn't take advantage of, forcing Aaron Jones to fumble on the San Francisco 1-yard line. What's even more impressive about that Warner forced fumble was that he was in man-to-man coverage on the other side of the field. And he sees a screen pass to Aaron Jones. It's about to end the game, and he is able to speed over across the entire field, get himself into position, and punch the ball out. 49ers recover, and they, in fact, went the entire length of the field the other way to make it a more interesting game. But ultimately, the 49ers just could not stop the Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell. And Brock Purdy still just cannot figure out what to do with this offensive line, which is weak in pass coverage. And without a Christian McCaffrey, not to caveat this to the point of eradicating his responsibility, he just doesn't know what to do with chaos at the line of scrimmage. And the 49ers offensive line really doesn't know what to do with chaos at the line of scrimmage. The Niners have now played 3 games under Brock Purdy against really, truly chaotic defenses, 2 against Brian Flores. Both of those have been losses to the Minnesota Vikings. And then last year on Christmas against the Baltimore Ravens, which were even more chaotic and even more talented than whatever the Vikings had last year, and certainly what the Vikings had this year, though Kevin Van Ginkel is one hell of a player. Andrew Van Ginkel, doesn't matter. The white guy on the defensive line for the Vikings, someone that I was talking about repeatedly as somebody the Niners should get this past offseason. He looked fantastic in this game, batting down a pass on a 4th down that the Niners were going for early in the game near the goal line. He was fantastic, but regardless, it was more scheme than anything else that had Brock Purdy flummoxed, and he just did not look like his normal self. In fact, he looked a lot like former 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Positives in this game, as I said, Fred Warner was immense. George Kittle was fantastic. Deebo Samuel had a little bit of a mental hiccup late in the game when he instead caught a ball instead of batting it down. Didn't matter in the long run. The Niners were never getting an onside kick. Those don't get recovered anymore. That's Roger Goodell's NFL for you. And he wasn't very good out of the backfield, but the Niners barely even tried that. But he was immense as a pass catcher in this contest. George Kittle was great as both a blocker and as a pass catcher. Jordan Mason was absolutely fantastic in this game again. Truly unfair that the 3rd-string running back for the 49ers at the beginning of training camp has this kind of power, vision, and burst. I don't even know what to say. He looks like prime Terrell Davis out there. He's a really special player, and maybe he's the Brock Purdy of this season for the 49ers because I see no reason to stop giving him the rock. It's frankly the only thing that 49ers offensive line can do effectively is run block. I think you need to double down on Jordan Mason from this point on. That said, he's about the only running back you have with Deebo struggles, and Isaac Orendo got 1 carry today, and it did not go very far at all. Fred Warner, again, immense, but you go down on the duds. Charvarius Ward had a bad game, getting lost in coverage again and again. Isaac Gadam getting drawn to the inside. That's not a place that he should be, and it's not a place that he can be successful, and he wasn't successful. The safeties were brutal in this game. Jair Brown got caught with his hand in the cookie jar again, and George Odom got matched up one-on-one against Justin Jefferson in the slot. So you have Brown biting on what he thought was going to be a run play and Odom in one-on-one coverage. You know what happened next? 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson where he's able to run the final 50 because he gets over the top of both of those guys. Safeties are destiny in the modern NFL, and the 49ers' destiny is looking rather cloudy with those two safeties. Talanoa Hufanga cannot come back soon enough, and Jair Brown really is going to get targeted week after week after week until he proves he's not the weak link on this defense. Devondre Campbell could be the weak link on this defense. He was getting targeted again and again and again by Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold to pretty solid success. And then Nick Bosa had a great game, as per usual. He was great in the run game, 2 sacks in the game. He was fantastic, and they have good tackles on the Vikings. Anytime Leonard Floyd wants to show up, wasn't setting edges, wasn't getting to the quarterback, had one great opportunity for a sack, just ran right past Sam Darnold. I know Sam Darnold's fairly elusive, but I also know that Leonard Floyd should be able to get a sack there. I think Yetur Gross-Matos, who played his first game for the 49ers today, is going to get the vast majority of snaps on opposite end, defensive end, in this upcoming week against the Rams and beyond. I didn't see anything special from him, but he was at least competent in that role. That's not something I can say about Leonard Floyd, and frankly, it's 2 straight pretty games from Leonard Floyd. Not a great start for him, not a great look for the 49ers. He was their big free agent pickup. He's been anything but a positive for them through the first 2 games. It was to the point where they were playing Kevin Givens at defensive end. He's a backup defensive tackle. They just needed somebody who can set a damn edge on the outside. I think Yetur Gross-Matos can do that for you. But again, these are very low bars that have not been hurdled. And the 49ers now have to get back on the horse and get to 2-1. They get the Rams next week. We don't really know what the Rams are just yet, and they're injured to high heaven as well. But a division game on the road following a loss, big gut check time for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll see what they have, and we'll have plenty of content leading up to that game throughout the week here on the Dieter and Hutch podcast channel. Thanks for watching.